Chapter 1642. Love, Tua Xiaogong pulled Miko-sama away, leaving the guard who brought her here to send them back. After the bodyguard sent her back, he said before leaving, "Miss Yuyue, my master said that if you are in danger, you can contact us." After saying that, he left his contact information. Sima Yuyue watched him leave and threw the item in her hand into her spirit pagoda. Didn't Tua Xiaogong know about her because he sent someone to follow her? Although he didn't interfere with her work, the feeling of being stared at all times was still uncomfortable. However, she did not have the ability to stop others from following her. When she turned around, there was a sudden movement in the spirit pagoda. After receiving the news from Han Miaoshuang and the others, her face was filled with rage. She didn't care that she was still at the entrance of the inn, with people coming and going, and directly disappeared. Ever since the Crimson Pearl Convention, White Tiger City had been unsealed, so everyone could enter and leave as they pleased. Han Miaoshuang and the others also left the city, but they didn't expect to be stopped the moment they returned to the outskirts. Seeing that it was Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao, Han Miaoshuang didn't say anything. She immediately took out the thing Sima Yuyue gave her and crushed it. Sima Yuyue would receive the news at the same time. Eastern Lai Li naturally noticed the movements of Han Miao's hands, but she didn't say anything. "You want reinforcements?" Northern Du Hao looked at them with disdain. "That's just right. Let's get rid of you first." When she got the news and rushed over, she would see your corpses. When the time came, he would just kill her. Ha ha ha. Who do you want to kill? Sima Yoyue's voice came from the sky, then she appeared in front of Han Miaoshuang and the others. "How can you be so fast?" Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao were slightly surprised. Their men had been following her all this time, and they had just transmitted that she was in the city. How could she suddenly appear here? The two of them then realized that she had appeared silently just now, which meant that her spatial technique was already above theirs. Sima Yuyue looked at the two of them and sneered, "Both of you are about to kill my senior brothers and sisters, how can I not be faster? Otherwise, we'll only see their corpses when we come." "Humph, you can't change anything even if you come here." Northern Du Hao didn't understand Sima Yoyue's strength, so in his opinion, Sima Yuyue was just to get rid of one more person. However, Eastern Lai Li didn't think so. Although she didn't know Sima Yuyue's background, she had an indescribable fear towards Sima Yuyu. From the moment she entered the ancient mine to the time she came out, she was completely unscathed. Although Xian Qiu he took care of her, if it was someone else, they might not have such an ending. Sima Yuyu wasn't angry at their contempt. "Yuyu Yuyue, you, but you. When Yuyu, I, Yuyue you. Alone." Sima Yuyu sneered, "I have to say, you guys are too conceited. You dare to kill us with just two people. Is that so?" Sima Yuyue thought, and Sima Lu Xian and the others appeared behind her. With another wave of her hand, the elders of the Egret clan also appeared. "No matter what method we use, we can't let them escape today," Sima Yuyue said. Not to mention anything else, these two people repaid kindness with enmity and wanted to kill them for no reason. She didn't want to let them go just because of this. Not to mention, these two people were vengeful. If they let them escape today, they would never have peace in the future. However, these two people were the geniuses of the hidden clans and had many life-saving things on them. Back then, they were able to escape from Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. Today, she wanted to kill them here, so she had no choice but to call for more people. No matter what, they couldn't let them escape today. Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao were shocked when they saw so many people, then they said faintly, "It seems that we have underestimated you. However, you want to kill us with so few people? That's too whimsical." With a wave of his hand, a few people wearing black cloaks appeared beside them. Undead. Although Su Xiao and the others had never seen the undead outside, they had seen many in the spirit pagoda, so they could recognize these undead. Northern Du Hao smiled coldly, "Don't worry, when you die, you will become like them." Disgusting. Han Miaoshuang waved her hand in disgust. "Let's quickly get rid of these undead." Sima Yuyue looked at Northern Du Hao. He actually had undead, so was the Northern Du clan the mastermind behind this? No matter what, her thoughts had changed. She couldn't kill Northern Du Hao for the time being, so she couldn't get any clues about the undead. Let me deal with the undead. Kill the women and leave the men, Sima Yuyue said. Although they were a little surprised that she changed her mind, everyone still listened to her. So, when they were dealing with Eastern Lai Li, they didn't hold back and used all their killing moves. But when they were dealing with Northern Du Hao, they were much gentler. At least when they could break his limbs, they didn't stab his heart. And on Sima Yoyue's side, from the start, she controlled the death aura on the undead. The undead that were about to show off their skills suddenly stood still on the spot as if someone had grabbed their lifeline. It wasn't that they didn't move, they were just standing there and being killed. Northern Du Hao was being pressured step by step. Just as he was wondering why the undead didn't move, he turned his head and saw that the undead were out of control. Sima Yuyue looked over and happened to see his incredulous eyes. Northern Du Hao, don't you know that fiddling with the undead in front of me is like holding a lantern in a latrine pit? She smiled very gently, but Northern Du Hao's eyes widened. Because the ghost aura on her body was so pure, it was even different from the usual cold ghost clan. Her ghost aura had a noble aura that made people want to worship her. It was no wonder that those undead were controlled by her. How could the death aura have any advantage against the ghost aura? Without the death aura, there was naturally no point in keeping the undead. If he cared about Sima Yuyue, he only needed to check on her and he would know that she had the blood of the ghost clan in her body. So, would he still dare to expose the undead in front of her? While he was distracted, Eastern Lai Li's arm was pierced and she couldn't help but cry out. When Northern Du Hao saw this, he didn't have the mood to be distracted. Today, he was outnumbered and couldn't continue fighting. He wanted to cut open the void and escape, but he realized that the space had been silently frozen. He subconsciously looked at Sima Yuyue. She was the only one who had the ability to use the power of space that she had displayed earlier. However, before he could think of a countermeasure, Sima Yuyue did another thing that made them even more shocked. Chapter 1643. Only to see Sima Yuyue spread out her hands with her palms facing upwards as a surge of power poured out. Everyone present recognized that this was her releasing her own domain. A person who hadn't even reached the monarch realm had actually comprehended a domain. Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao looked at Sima Yuyue with a complicated gaze. Even they were unable to catch up to such talent. Especially when such a person was a low-key enemy. If they were friends, they wouldn't have to be so hostile. If they had known that she had these trump cards, they wouldn't have come to kill her so unprepared. Seriously, other people would want everyone to know about their talents. Why was Sima Yuyue so low-key? Although the others present knew that she had a domain, this was the first time they had seen it, and they were all surprised. See, Sima Xiuqi sighed, this domain is bigger than ours, and also more stable. Isn't that so? Huang Yingying said so, but the smile on her face deepened. Sima Lu Xian and Feng Zhixing looked at each other and saw the unwillingness in each other's eyes. They were actually defeated by a junior. Their father and master were a little inferior. Looks like I'll have to work harder in the future. As for Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao, they could only stare blankly. It was really too amazing. Sima Yuyue did not think about what they were thinking. Instead, she opened up a part of her domain and covered everyone. Only then did they realize that everyone was stunned. She frowned slightly and said, "Grandpa, Grandma, now is not the time to daydream." It was only after she spoke that the others regained their senses and continued to attack Eastern Lai Li and the other person. In her domain, she suppressed the strength of Eastern Lai Li and the others. Very quickly, she was pierced through the heart by Feng Zhixing. Eastern Lai Li didn't expect that she would die here today. The Lost Lands. She had lost her life here. Even when she collapsed, her eyes were still wide open. She really died with her eyes wide open. Northern Du Hao was quickly taken down by them. Of course, at this time, he was just breathing out more than he was breathing in. Sima Yue threw the remaining corpses, Eastern Lai Li's corpse, and Northern Du Hao into the spirit pagoda. Then, she kept everyone else inside as well. Keep him alive, she instructed Little Spirit. At this moment, she was not in the mood to deal with the undead. As long as he entered the spirit pagoda, he would really be begging for death. Sima Yue cleaned up the battlefield and left quickly. After a while, someone rushed over after hearing the commotion. That was indeed the aura of a domain just now. I wonder which venerable is fighting here. No matter how they guessed, they would never think that it was Sima Yue. Just in case, Sima Yue came back not long after she left and hid in the crowd. Seeing that those people were all talking about the enchantment she had cast at the end and that they didn't know it was her, she felt relieved and left. However, after entering the city, she sadly realized that she was being followed. He just didn't know when this person started following him. If he saw the scene of him killing someone, it would be troublesome. However, she immediately denied this conjecture. At that time, she had included a radius of 1 kilometer into her domain. If there was really someone here, she wouldn't not know. Thinking about it this way, this person must have started following her when they were watching the commotion. She entered the city and directly returned to the inn. After returning to her room, she called them out. However, they weren't as happy as before after winning the battle. Instead, they were all a little depressed. What's wrong? Sima Yue asked curiously. Why did these people become unhappy after entering? In the end, it was Sima Lu Xian who spoke, that Northern Du Hao is a tough nut to crack. We have so many people and took turns to ask him, but we didn't get any information from him about the undead. Did you torture him? Sima Yue asked. Yes, you said that as long as he's still breathing, it's fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. Sima Yue said, it's just that Northern Du Hao's body has some death aura, so his body shouldn't feel pain. Since he couldn't feel pain, it was useless to him. I also tried to use the method you said to invade his divine sense, but I found that his sea of consciousness was restricted. As long as I touched it, his sea of consciousness might shatter. Feng Zhixing was also very disappointed, feeling that he was useless. If a person's sea of consciousness was shattered, then he could only become a fool, and he would never know about the undead's memories. Because even he himself wouldn't think about it. No wonder they were so dispirited. Coercion and bribery didn't work. Northern Du Hao could be said to be a piece of iron. After thinking it through, she smiled and said, there's no rush. When I entered the city, I felt that I was being followed. That means the big fish is about to take the bait. Han Miao Shuang said excitedly. Sima Yue nodded, but we can't just take the bait. We can move on to the next step of the plan. On the second day, Sima Yue and the others went to check out. When the Mo family came to check out, they found out that Sima Yue and the others were invited by the Black Tortoise City's Wu family to be guests. When Mo Shuiyang heard this news, his eyebrows twitched subconsciously, sighing that she still did it in the end, making the people around him confused. They were just there as guests, not going to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of fire. Why did young master sigh like that? Mo Shuiyang didn't explain anything, he just asked people to pay attention to Black Tortoise City to see if there was anything interesting. Sima Yue and the others stood in front of the Wu family's gate, looking at the majestic stone lion, suddenly feeling as if something was attracting her involuntarily. The Wu family actually gave her an inexplicable sense of familiarity. She felt a little strange. She had never interacted with the Wu family before, why did it give her a sense of familiarity? Everyone, please. The person who came to receive them was the Wu family's housekeeper, who kindly reminded them. It wasn't polite to be in a daze in front of someone else's gate. I'm really sorry, I rarely saw these in the past. I felt that the 2 stone lions were very interesting, so I took a few more glances. Sima Yue explained. Miss Yue is joking. The housekeeper said with a smile, Master and the others are waiting for you inside. Please. Sima Xiuqi nodded and walked in before him. There were no familiar people, no familiar sights, Why did she feel that it was familiar? The housekeeper brought them in. The people who were watching from the corner of the street quietly left. Chapter 1644. When Sima Yuus saw the head of the Wu family, she was stunned for a moment. He looked somewhat familiar, somewhat similar to a certain someone. Wu family head saw her staring at his face and looked at her with a smile. I had some matters to attend to just now, so I didn't greet you from afar. Please don't take offense. Sorry for the intrusion. I've heard of family head Wu's great name ever since I arrived on the island. Today, I finally get to meet you. Sima Xiuqi was adept at speaking courteously. Please come in. Patriarch Wu laughed and led them into the living room. I heard that you came here from the outside. Since you're here, you should stay here for a while. Isn't this too much of a bother? Sima Xiuqi said, the main reason we came here this time was to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention. Now that the Crimson Pearl Convention has ended, we will stay on the island for a while before leaving. Isn't there still some time? Then he would stay in the Wu family for 2 more days. Since you don't know anyone on the island, why don't you stay here? Patriarch Wu said warmly. If that's the case, we'll have to disturb you. Sima Yuus sat down obediently and did not listen to her grandfather and Master Wu's greetings. At this moment, her heart was in turmoil. The Wu family and the Wu family had different names. They were supposed to be unrelated, but for some reason, she subconsciously thought of them together. Wu Lingyu was a child picked up by Old Man Devil. No one knew where she came from or what her name was. Old Man Devil said that he once asked Wu Lingyu, who was only 1 or 2 years old, what his name was. He only said, Wu, so he named him Wu Lingyu. At that time, he was so young. Was he talking about Wu or Wu? She couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. It was just that, this Wu family head and Wu Lingyu looked somewhat similar, and the Wu family gave her a familiar feeling. She remembered why she found the stone lion familiar. She had seen a similar stone lion in Wu Lingyu's little realm, but it was only the size of a palm. She had once asked him why he had this. It was not his style. Later, he said that he had put this thing in his spatial ring when he was young. No wonder, she didn't know what relationship Wu Lingyu had with the Wu family, but she didn't plan to say it out loud. She would tell Wu Lingyu about it later. If he wanted to investigate, he could find out himself without her help. If he was unwilling, then this matter would be over. Once she understood this, she stopped worrying about her discovery. She thought about the matter of her master and the others coming over. While Sima Xiuqi and the others were resting, she asked, Patriarch Wu, I heard that after the last Crimson Pearl Convention, Su Jin and Gulang came to your residence. The Wu family head stared blankly for a moment, then nodded and admitted, that's right. At that time, after the Crimson Pearl Convention, we invited them over. At that time, there were many people who invited them, but we were the only ones who answered. However, he left on the same day. Did they say anything after they came here? Sima Yuus asked. What did he say? Patriarch Wu looked at Sima Yuus suspiciously. They were just here to chat. We wanted to recruit them, but they didn't agree, so we didn't mention it again. After that, they left. Then did they ask you any questions, or did they mention where they were going after they left? Sima Yuus asked. Miss Sima seems to be very interested in their matters. Patriarch Wu said. Sima Yuus smiled and said, to be honest, Su Jin is my master, and Gulang is my teacher in the academy. Back then, they came to the Lost Lands and disappeared without a trace. This time, we are here to find my master. Gulang is your master? Patriarch Wu was a little surprised, but he immediately understood. No wonder the two of them would treat patients at the same time. So they had this kind of relationship. These 3 are my senior brothers and senior sisters. We are very worried about master, so we came here. If Patriarch Wu knows anything, please tell us. Sima Yuus said sincerely. If you want to talk about anything, they did ask me some questions. Patriarch Wu recalled, our ancestors once had a divine devil physique. They asked us how our ancestors solved this physique. Sima Yuyue and Jiang Junxian looked at each other. Back then, they came here to solve the problem of Sima Yoyue's physique, saying that there was a solution here. They didn't expect them to come here and ask this question. They didn't say anything. Patriarch Wu continued, our ancestors did have such a person, but that was hundreds of thousands of years ago. How would we know how he solved this problem? So in the end, we could only say sorry. Then did your ancestor die because of his physique? Sima Lu Xian asked. No, in the end, he used some method to solve his physique problem, but he joined the devil clan. Patriarch Wu said. Sima Yoyue's heart skipped a beat. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, divine devil physique, devil clan. Could the Wu clan's ancestor be Mo Sha? If it was true, then between Mo Sha and Wu Lingyu. Patriarch Wu, did my master and the others say where they would go that day? Han Miao Shuang's question interrupted her thoughts. When they heard that we couldn't do anything, they were very disappointed. Then we asked them about their plans. They said that since we didn't know, they really didn't know who would know how to solve it. Since that was the case, there was no point in staying here, so they planned to leave. So if you didn't say that he was missing, would have thought that they left. Sima Yuyuan knew that he was telling the truth. Su Jin and the others weren't here now. From what Tua Xiao Gong said last time, they were undoubtedly in the Hao clan. They knew that this would be the result, so they weren't disappointed. Also, accepting the Wu clan's invitation was just an excuse to come to Black Tortoise City. In the next few days, they stayed in the Wu clan and discussed some academic problems with the Wu clan's doctors and alchemists. Their days were considered leisurely. Soon, news began to spread outside, saying that the number one doctor had entered the Wu clan and became their guest, which was why they didn't come out for so many days. They were getting along well, but the others weren't so happy. After getting them, they actually joined their enemy, the Wu clan. The Hao clan's patriarch's face was so black that water could drip out. Patriarch, this Sima Yoyue's medical skills are really brilliant, especially her silver needle technique. If she can give it to our Hao clan, then we can go further in the medical path. Someone said. Yes. I've heard of the silver needle technique before, but I've never seen it with my own eyes. This time, it's an eye-opener. Another person said, I arranged for those few patients to enter, so I know their situation very well. It's only been a few days, but they've almost recovered. Patriarch, do you want to use the old method? Chapter 1645. The old methods were naturally those that the Hao clan did not want to see the light of day. In fact, there had been a lot of disappearances in recent years, which had attracted some people's attention. Some people were even investigating this matter. Logically speaking, the Hao family should have kept a low profile at this juncture. However, Sima Yoyue's silver needle technique was too attractive. They could not resist her charm at all. After much hesitation, the Hao family still made that risky decision. At the same time, Sima Yuyue found out about their thoughts and plans. As such, on the morning of the second day, Sima Yuyue took her people and left. Then, she found a remote place and kept them in the spirit pagoda. Then, she pretended as if nothing had happened and strolled around the streets. She entered a medicinal shop and began to look for the medicinal herbs she wanted. Dear guest, is there anything I can help you with? What kind of medicinal herbs do you want? The shop assistant came up to him with an eager and enthusiastic attitude. I don't have anything I want to buy. I just want to see if you have any rare herbs. Sima Yuyue said calmly. The shop assistant could tell at a glance that she was an outsider, so he smiled and said, Dear customer, do you want to see the unique medicinal herbs on our island? Yes. Sima Yuyue nodded. If possible, I want older ones. These herbs are unique to our island. If you want to cherish them, you'll have to go to the second floor. The shop assistant said enthusiastically. Sima Yuyue glanced at the herbs and realized that they were all ordinary herbs. She lost interest after looking at them for a while. Since the treasures are on the second floor, I'll go there and take a look. Guest, please follow me. The shop assistant brought her to the second floor and led her to the place where the unique herbs of the island were placed. He said, "Dear customer, this is the place." Sima Yue looked around. The herbs here were indeed much better than those downstairs. Is this silver water grass? She picked up a stalk of silver water grass and looked at it. Yes, this is 100-year-old silver water grass. The shop assistant replied. Are 100-year-old herbs considered rare? Sima Yue asked curiously. This silver water grass is a rather common medicinal herb on the island. Because it has a wide range of uses, many people use it. Because of the high demand, they were usually dug out as soon as they reached the age where they could be used. In recent years, older ones have become very rare, the shop assistant explained. I see, Sima Yue understood and put down the silver water plant. She then looked at the medicinal herbs in the other box. Every time she looked at a medicinal herb, she would ask some questions about the herb, and the shop assistant would explain it to her in detail, some of which she was interested in. Give me the ones I chose just now. Sima Yue said. All right. When the shop assistant went to collect the herbs, he seemed to have thought of something. He turned around and said to Sima Yue, Dear customer, we just received a herb today, but it hasn't been displayed yet. Those medicinal herbs are also quite rare. Do you want to take a look? It's also a rare medicinal herb? Then bring it up. Sima Yue replied. The shop assistant went down and came back up in less than 2 minutes with a box in his hand. Sima Yue saw that the box was very exquisite, and the patterns on it were very intricate. Many medicinal herbs were placed in jade boxes, and there were very few that were placed in wooden boxes. Sima Yue became interested. What kind of medicinal herb is inside? She asked curiously. Dear customer, you will know when you open it. The shop assistant handed the medicinal herb to her. Sima Yue did not suspect anything and opened the box. However, there was no medicinal herb inside, and white smoke came out. She only felt that she smelled something nice, and before she could react, she was lying on the table. Seeing that she had fainted, a door on the second floor opened, and 2 people who looked like guards walked out. Done? One of the guards asked. The shop assistant kept his previous enthusiasm and nodded at the 2 of them. The 2 guards came to Sima Yue's side, and one of them picked her up and carried her under his armpit. They entered the previous room and disappeared from the second floor silently. Sima Yue woke up with a headache, and her body was still weak. She wanted to rub her forehead, but she could not do so. However, she was in a good mood, and there was even a faint smile on her face. Humph, stupid woman, you always end up like this. Other than hurting yourself, do you know any other way? Mi-er's voice sounded, and then, a miniature version of her appeared by the bed. Sima Yue ignored the sarcasm in his words, and said, This is the simplest and most effective way. Humph. Go ahead and do it. Mi-er said unhappily, Which medicinal pill? The orange-red one. Sima Yue said. Mi-er took out an orange-red medicinal pill and stuffed it into her mouth. Very quickly, she felt that she was slowly regaining control of her body. When her body was completely detoxified, she sat up from the bed and looked around the room. The room was not big, and the decorations were simple, but the things used were of the highest quality. Perhaps because they knew that she would be weak after being poisoned, there was not even a guard at the door. The Hao family knows how to enjoy themselves. Sima Yue commented. Humph, Mi-er cooperated and gave her a single syllable. I wonder where Master and the rest are. Would they be locked in the same place as her? Don't think about it. When I came in, I looked around. This is a small courtyard, and you're alone. Mi-er said. Sima Yue was surprised when she heard this. She was locked up alone? Then it seemed that she was treated well, and she was not locked up immediately. Thinking about it, she had not met the Hao family yet. If she was willing to join the Hao family, then she would not be locked up in their secret base. It would not be too late to send her over after they met and confirmed that she would not join them. Hence, she stayed here peacefully and waited for the Hao family to appear. She was not disappointed. The Hao family appeared the next day. Seeing that Sima Yue had already woken up, they were not surprised. Who are you? Sima Yue was lying on the bed. She still looked very weak. I am the head of the Hao family, Hao Ji. Hao family? Sima Yue frowned. Why did you bring me here? Hao Ji did not reply to her, but walked directly to the bedside and lowered his head to look at her, saying with a smile, Miss Yu has obtained first place in the Crimson Pearl Convention. This Hao has yet to congratulate you. Sima Yue's face was cold as she mocked, drugging and locking someone up. Is this how the Hao family congratulates someone? I cannot accept this kind of congratulation. Chapter 1646. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1647. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1648. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1649. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1650. When Su Jin and the others woke up, the injuries on their bodies were already mostly healed. Recalling what had happened before he fainted, he woke up with a start and sat up on the bed. Gu Lang, who was beside him, also woke up. Old Su, are we hallucinating? Gu Lang asked. Looking at you and me, I can tell if it's an illusion or not. Su Jin said as he got off the bed. When he came to the courtyard, he found that there was no one there. Gu Lang also came out. Looking at the empty courtyard, he asked, Did Yue and the others really come? I also hope that we are hallucinating. Su Jin closed his eyes. They had already realized how painful the days here were. He didn't wish for his students to be imprisoned here like him, forever unable to escape. You have to trust them, Glenn said. Yue, that child, never does anything she's not sure of. Since she dared to come here, she must have a way out. She is here to save us. At this time, a guard walked in from the outside. The barrier had no effect on her. Seeing Su Jin and Gu Lang standing at the door, he excitedly said, Master, teacher, you're awake? Yue? Gu Lang saw another unfamiliar face and called out tentatively. Sima Yue nodded and returned to her original appearance. She smiled and said, It's me. Why are you here? Su Jin glared at her. I participated in the Crimson Pearl Convention, and then deliberately allowed myself to be captured by the Hao clan. When Su Jin heard this, he was infuriated and shouted, Do you know where this place is? Who knows how many people who came here never made it out? How can you be so careless? Faced with his scolding, Sima Yue walked over and said, It's precisely because we know where this place is that we have to come. Master, don't worry, we will get you out of here. You, Master, you've been imprisoned here for so many years because of me. How can I not care about anything? Sima Yue interrupted him. If I had known that you would be living such a life here, would have come earlier. Sima Yue looked at them with tears in her eyes, causing them to swallow their words. All right, old Su. It's already like this. It's useless for you to scold her. Don't pull a long face all the time. Isn't it just that the students saw you in your most embarrassing state? What's there to be embarrassed about? Gu Lang didn't hesitate to tear him down. The corner of Su Jin's mouth twitched. He glared at him and then turned to return to his room. He was not afraid of a godlike opponent, but he was afraid of a pig-like teammate. Gu Lang was a complete hindrance to him. Sima Yue called out Jiang Junxian and the others before entering the house. Seeing several people appear out of thin air, Su Jin and Gu Lang were a little surprised, but they didn't ask anything. Master, Teacher, let me check your pulse first. Sima Yuyue walked over and started to take their pulse. How long have we been unconscious? Su Jin asked. 10 days. Those people didn't come? Gu Lang asked in astonishment. Sima Yuyue knew who they were talking about and said, they don't have the time to care about this. What did you do? Su Jin asked. Nothing much. I just made them a little busy so they can't care about this for now. Sima Yuyue said, Master, you're recovering well. However, you've suffered a lot of injuries in recent years and you've relied on yourself to recover. That's why there are some hidden injuries. I'll help you recuperate when we get back. After speaking, she went to take Gu Lang's pulse again. She held her breath and didn't intend to tell them what she had done. Su Jin wanted to say something, but Jiang Junxian said, Master, with your current situation, you should focus on recuperating. Sima Yuyue gave him a look of approval. Senior was still so understanding. Su Jin, Gu Lang didn't say anything at the side because Sima Yuyue's face didn't look too good. I know my own body. Although it looks serious, it'll be fine after recuperating. He saw Yuyue's gaze on him and his voice became softer and softer. However, Sima Yuyue didn't say anything to attack him. She just planned in her heart how to recuperate their bodies. After she had finished examining the two of them, they asked Yu and the others why they had come to look for them. Senior brother and senior sister have been worried about you guys. However, because I've been busy all these years and didn't have the strength to do so at first, I only came now. Sima Yuyue felt guilty when she thought about it. Master and the others came here because of her and suffered so much. However, she only came now. You guys have the strength to come here now? Su Jin looked at Jiang Junxian, especially you. You're the eldest senior brother. Instead of taking care of your junior brother and junior sister, you're messing around with them. Master, we're not messing around with you. Han Miao Shuang explained softly. Then what is it? Su Jin glared at her, you don't believe that Master can go back by himself? Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao lowered their heads and lowered their eyes to hide their emotions. It wasn't that they looked down on him. It was just that without the people behind Yuyue, it was impossible to leave this place by themselves. Master, what did you guys do on the island? Sima Yuyue asked. They made us refine various pills and things like that. Then, they made us hand over our secret arts. Su Jin said, those who lost there will obediently handed it over. As for us, although we suffered a lot, we didn't break down mentally. Master, I saw someone using your pill refining techniques at the Crimson Pearl Convention. Did you? Han Miao Shuang pursed her lips. She didn't finish her sentence. No. However, we refine pills in a centralized place. That's why it could be imitated. Su Jin said. But that person is an outsider. Many people couldn't stand the torture here and finally compromised. Gu Lang said. Master, teacher, you guys used this kind of pain to motivate yourselves to not compromise, right? Sima Yuyue said affirmatively. Su Jin smiled and didn't refute her words. Yuyue, can you tell us now what you guys did these days? Su Jin leaned on the chair. Alright, I didn't do much. I just changed all the books in their treasury and set the building on fire. Sima Yuyue smiled happily, so now those people are investigating the person who did it. They don't have time to take care of us. You set the treasury on fire? Gu Lang and Su Jin looked at her in shock. Yes. Who asked them to do this to you guys? This treasury is just the first step. Sima Yuyue snorted. How Clan, prepare to receive her anger bit by bit. Chapter 1651. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1652. Sima Yuyue understood what he meant. He felt that he had nothing to worry about, so it didn't matter where he lived. Therefore, during his days of captivity, his mentality had always been good, and he had not been driven crazy by the endless loneliness and despair. This was also a good attitude. However, not all of the people here were like this. Some of them relied on the worries in their hearts to persevere for so long. Only by living could he see them again. No matter which one it was worthy of admiration. "Grandpa, if you have nowhere to go, you can go to Heartbreak Valley. Over at our place." Sima Yue started to bluff again. Those who were locked up here by the Hao family were not ordinary people. It would be good if they could be lured back. The little old man listened to her and did not interrupt her. He waited for her to finish speaking before he chuckled and said, "Little girl, you're very sure that we'll be able to get out?" "Of course." Sima Yue said confidently, "The Hao family can't do whatever they want in this continent, right?" He would always hit an iron plate. "Look, the treasury has been burned down. Next time, they might destroy the torture chamber or sink the island. It's better if such a place doesn't exist. This place can't be destroyed just because you want to," the little old man said faintly. "Why?" Sima Yue felt that there was a deeper meaning to his words. This is the foundation of the Hao family. How could such an important place not be heavily guarded? The little old man took a sip of tea. "Why is the Hao family's foundation here?" Sima Yue was shocked. Previously, she had felt that this place was not like an ordinary prison. It turned out that there was such a reason behind it. It said that there's a place here that can cleanse the tendons and marrow of newborn babies, change their physique, and improve their talent. All the children born in the Hao family would be brought here for baptism. In the past, the Hao clan was not considered to be outstanding in the Lost Lands, but later on, they quickly rose up. Other than these despicable methods, they relied on the talents of these few generations. No wonder there are so many peak monarchs guarding an ordinary place. Sima Yue understood and then glanced at the little old man. "These are the Hao clan's secrets, right?" "Grandpa, how did you know?" "Naturally, it's because I've been here for a long time, so I've heard everything." The little old man smiled faintly, ignoring the prying look in her eyes. "Grandpa, how long have you been here?" Sima Yue asked curiously. "It's been a few hundred years. These guards have changed quite a few times already," the little old man said. Sima Yue heard from him that a new batch of people would be stationed here every once in a while. It was unbearable to stay here for a few years or even a few decades, but he had actually stayed here for hundreds of years. "Grandpa, I believe that this treasure pavilion is just the beginning of getting rid of the malignant tumor that is the Hao family." She smiled at the little old man. The little old man didn't say that he believed it, but he didn't say that he didn't either. He said meaningfully, "If you can let us leave, I'll go to the place you mentioned." "Good. Old grandfather, you have to remember what you said." Sima Yue smiled. This little old man never lies. The little old man was still the same, but Sima Yue felt that when he said this, he was serious. The two of them then became silent. Sima Yue waited for a while, and the guards who had walked past came back with a few people in their hands. It seemed like they were going to bring them back for questioning. Sima Yue stood up and said to the guards, "You've got the wrong people. Don't make trouble." One of the guards scolded. "I'm not making trouble. I'm telling the truth." Sima Yue said, "You've really got the wrong people." "Then do you know who set the fire?" Another guard asked. "I know." Sima Yue looked at them with a smile. "Who is it?" "Me." She pointed at herself. This time, even the guard ignored her, and wanted to leave with those people. "Hey, I'm telling the truth. That fire was really set by me." Sima Yue said, "That fire is so special. Is it something that an ordinary person would have?" The few guards looked at Sima Yue with a different gaze. The treasure pavilion was burned, and the fire was very strange. Others did not know about it, but she did. Could she really be the culprit? But she was so weak, how could she be the culprit? Not to mention other things, she could not even get out of this enchantment. But Sima Yue did not give them any time to think. With a wave of her hand, a flame burned the rocking chair she was sitting on. That flame had the same aura as the one that burned the treasure pavilion. It's really you. The guards believed her. It's impossible for you to get out of the enchantment. Sima Yuyue called out Little Roar, and with a light step, she came out of the enchantment. They did not expect her to come out so easily, and the few guards quickly surrounded her. Capture her, and bring the rest of them back. The head of the guards ordered. Don't touch me, I can walk on my own. Sima Yuyue said to the guards who wanted to touch her. Seeing that they still wanted to come over, she glared at them and threatened, "Come over if you're not afraid that I'll suddenly set the place on fire." Thinking of her inextinguishable fire, the guards were so scared that they took a step back. Let's go. The head of the guards did not dare to touch her, and said. Sima Yuyue smiled at the old man who was staring at her with his mouth agape, and left with them. The little old man watched as she disappeared around the corner. Thinking of her smile when she left, he sighed. No wonder when he saw her, his heart, which had been silent for many years, was stirred up. So it was really, maybe he could really leave this damn place. Sima Yuyue followed them to a courtyard, and there were a few people sitting inside. Sima Yuyue glanced at them, and it was not those old farts. You said that you set the fire? The person sitting in the middle asked. Yes. Sima Yuyue admitted. Why did you do that? Sima Yuyue looked at the person who spoke in astonishment, and her eyes were filled with disdain. Her meaning was obvious. Why would you people ask such an idiotic question? You locked me up here, and I can't be angry? She sneered, and those people were so angry that their faces turned red. You're Sima Yuyue? Yes. If you don't want me to burn this place down, you better let me go. Sima Yuyue snorted coldly, and rolled her eyes, looking extremely arrogant. Humph, we'll kill you first, then you won't be alive to burn this place down. Humph, do you dare? Sima Yuyue said confidently, if you dare to kill me, I'll probably be dead the moment I enter the door. Haoji gave you an order, you can't let anything happen to me without the silver needle technique, right? When she said this, the faces of the people in the room turned ugly. Chapter 1653. She was right. Haoji had indeed given them such an order. No matter what method he had to use, he had to obtain the silver needle technique in her hands. Seeing her happy and contented look, they were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood, but they really didn't dare to kill her. Lock her up in the torture chamber. Tell them that they only need to leave one last breath. The leader ordered. Make her into a human swine. Cut off her arms and legs, but leave her mouth intact. Human swine? Are you sure? Sima Yuyue squinted her eyes. Her gaze sent chills down the spine of the person who spoke. All right, take him away. The leader waved his hand, and someone immediately stepped forward. Sima Yuyue did not want them to touch her, so she followed them. After she left, the leader immediately ordered, tell this matter to the main family and ask the clan master what to do. Tell the torture chamber that they can carry out the torture, but don't kill him before there's news from them. Yes, fifth elder. The guard received the order and left. The person who said that he wanted to turn Sima Yuyue into a human swine stood up and said, Sima Yuyue is too cunning. I'm worried. I'll go and take a look. Old 10, don't go too far. You have to at least leave your hand behind. The fifth elder knew that person's temperament and warned him. I know. The 10th elder left the room as soon as he finished speaking. Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at the 10th elder who had followed her out and ignored him. The 10th elder walked over and said, I'll personally send you there. Sima Yuyue turned her head away and refused to look at her. I hope you can still be so arrogant in a bit. The 10th elder sneered. Thinking about her fate, his lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. Aren't you leaving? Sima Yuyue asked the guard beside her. Don't worry, they'll send someone to pick you up. The 10th elder said. Then, he instructed the guard beside him, give her the medicine first. Yes, 10th elder. The guard took out a pill and was about to feed it to Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue stretched out her hand and caught it. She sniffed it and said, "You guys always use this kind of poison. Don't you have any new ideas?" Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. Under everyone's gaze, she still ate the poison and complained that it smelled bad. Soon, she felt dizzy and fell to the ground. Those people let her fall to the ground without any sympathy. The person who pretended to be unconscious on the ground cursed silently. After waiting for a while, a boat slowly sailed over. A few guards carried a few injured people from the boat and threw them onto the ground. She then looked at Sima Yuyue and asked, "Is this the only one?" She has already admitted that she is the one who set the fire. Fifth Elder said. The guard briefly explained the situation and then warned. Fifth Elder said that you can do whatever you want with this person, but you must not kill her. Also, you must leave her mouth and hands behind. All right, I'll follow. Why do you need to be nagging here? The 10th Elder said impatiently. The guard rolled his eyes in his heart. He said so much to the people in the torture room because he wanted to go. The people in the torture room picked up Sima Yuyue and turned to board the boat. The 10th Elder followed. They did not say anything and ordered the boat to set sail and slowly left the island. Sima Yuyue was casually thrown onto the deck. He stood at the bow of the boat and remained silent. The 10th Elder knew his character and did not say anything along the way. Soon, they arrived at the torture room. Sima Yuyue calculated in her heart. The torture room was not far from the island where she was imprisoned. The boat would only take about an hour. The torture room must be under their protection. Otherwise, they would not have dared to use a boat and would have encountered a sea beast. She was carried ashore by the man and thrown into a stone house. No wonder they dared to throw her here. It turned out that this was a stone house and could not be burned at all. She didn't know what the 10th Elder was doing. Only the people from the torture chamber and her were here. We are already here. Do you still want to continue pretending to be unconscious? The person's voice was very pleasant. When Sima Yuyue heard him say this, she knew that she had been discovered. Since they were already in the torture room, there was no need for her to continue pretending. Thus, she opened her eyes and saw a face that was carved by the gods. Perhaps because he often lived in the dark, this person's face was a little pale. Coupled with his black clothes, he looked even paler. Because he had been torturing for a long time, there was a faint smell of blood and a strong murderous intent on his body. She was not anxious even though she was exposed. She sat up and looked at him, saying, "When did you find out?" The man saw that there was no panic or fear in her eyes. His eyes flashed and said, "You hid it very well, but even the slightest difference could not escape my ears. Your breathing is a little lighter than normal people who are unconscious." Sima Yuyue did not expect his ears to be so sharp. She leaned against the wall and asked, "Since you found out from the beginning, why didn't you throw me gently when you got on the boat?" The man was stunned and said, "Wouldn't it be more realistic this way?" Was he helping her? "Why didn't you expose me?" "Why should I expose you? Aren't you afraid that I have ulterior motives and will destroy this place?" "If you destroy it, then so be it." His voice was very soft, but Sima Yuyue felt a strong sense of hatred. "Aren't you afraid that your family will blame you?" Sima Yuyue asked. "When did I say that this is my family? You are not from the Hao family. I am the same as these people. I am locked up here. However, I am a little special because they are interested in my ability in this area." There was actually such a thing. Sima Yuyue felt that she was really surprised this time. She thought that the people here were all from the Hao family. "You want me to get you out of here?" she said with certainty. The man did not say anything and did not deny what she said. "What is your name?" Sima Yuyue stood up. She had never met someone who specialized in this area before. "Su Yang." "Su Yang? Su family. Do you know Su Lunyan?" "You know Lunyan? She is my sister." Su Yang's voice did not fluctuate, but he was a little excited when he heard Su Lu Nian's name. You are her brother? Why haven't I heard her mention you before? Sima Yuyue believed his words because he looked similar to Su Lu Nian. No wonder she felt that he was a little familiar. Su Yang did something to his face and even his facial features changed a little. Although each of them was only a little, when put together, there was a huge change. A face that was 70% to 80% similar to Su Lu Nian appeared in front of her. You. She was not used to seeing this face on a man's face. Lu Nian and I are twins. Su Yang said. Chapter 1654. Fraternal twins were not as alike as twins. Many fraternal twins looked different. It was rare for him to look so similar to Su Lu Nian. However, he didn't let her look at it for long. He fiddled with it a few more times and changed his face back. Have you seen it clearly? His voice was still as cold as ever. Sima Yuyue pouted. Why is your aura so different from Auntie He's? Su Lu Nian looked like a gentle and pleasant person. As for Su Yang, he looked like a cold person. Are you close to him? Su Yang asked. Yes. And he treats me very well. I don't have much contact with the Su family. Oh, I know Su Yu. Sima Yuyue said. Su Yu. Is he okay? Not bad, he's quite famous outside. Sima Yuyue said, you and him, he's my son. Sima Yuyue had already guessed it, so she wasn't surprised. She looked at him from head to toe, shook her head and said, you and your father are quite different. He's more like Aunt He. Seeing that his eyes were a little gloomy, she didn't want to hurt him anymore. Instead, she asked, speaking of which, I still have to call you Uncle Yang. Uncle Yang, how long have you been here? 200 or 300 years. Do Aunt He and Su Yu know? Su Yang shook his head. I came here by chance. I didn't tell my family. Sima Yuyue wanted to ask why he would help her when he didn't know her, but before she could speak, 10th Elder's voice came from outside. Sima Yuyue gave Su Yang a pill and sprinkled some powder in the air. Su Yang swallowed the pill. The smell of the stuff that Sima Yuyue had sprinkled was very faint, and it was almost undetectable under the cover of the bloody smell. Su Yang, where's that little bitch? 10th Elder asked as soon as he entered. Su Yang glanced at him and ignored him. The 10th Patriarch was not angry. He turned his gaze to Sima Yuyue and said with an evil smile, little b****, are you very capable? Go ahead and burn it. Can you burn this place too? Because he was in charge of the treasury, he was severely punished by his family after she burned it down. So when he saw Sima Yuyue, he really wanted to kill her. But he couldn't go against his family's wishes. But didn't his family say that as long as she was alive? So he could do whatever he wanted as long as she was alive. I originally wanted to make you into a human swine, but I insisted on leaving you with an arm, so I can't make you into a human swine. But I have a better idea, Yuyue. After saying that, he took out a blood-red net. I'll put this on you later, and then I'll cut off your flesh piece by piece. Every time, I only cut off half of it before giving you a pill. That way, you wouldn't die, right? When you're almost done here, I'll move to the other side. Alternating, I'll let you have a good taste of pain. Are you sure? Sima Yuyue did not show a trace of fear. Instead, she looked at him with interest. Seeing his lean body, she shook her head. Ha, you are indeed daring. I'm not being daring. You chose the ending for yourself, so I have to satisfy you, right? Sima Yuyue said. What did you say? What did you do? The 10th Patriarch felt that something was wrong. His body seemed to be tired. He knew what was wrong with him. He wanted to control the poison with his spiritual energy, but it sped up the poison's flow. The weaker prison guards behind him couldn't resist and fell to the ground. Sima Yuyue stood at the same spot and looked at him, saying, actually, I have always liked to use poison. It's convenient and fast. It's not a waste of time I spent on it. She admitted that she had poisoned them. Your space ring has already been removed. How can there still be poison on your body? The 10th patriarch did not want to believe her. Are you talking about this? Sima Yue took out a space ring and put it on her finger. How is that possible? Nothing is impossible. Sima Yue walked over and kicked him. He immediately fell to the ground. You were the one who attacked Su Jin and Gulang last time, right? Who are you? The 10th patriarch felt that something was wrong. How did she know about Su Jin and Gulang? Who am I? Su Jin is my master. Gulang is my teacher. Sima Yue bent down and picked up the net in his hand. The snow silk is dyed red with blood. Looks like you used this a lot. She threw the net to Su Yang in disdain. I'll leave this guy to you. Leave the people outside to me. Su Yang caught the net and said, there are many people outside. Sima Yue smiled at him. I brought many people with me too. She turned and left after saying that. Su Yang looked at the net in his hand. Thinking about her confident look, he did not go out. Instead, he took the net and walked to the 10th patriarch's side. Sima Yue went outside and called out the people in the spirit pagoda. Then, she opened her little realm and called out Feng Xiang and the rest. Aunt Xiang, I'll have to trouble you. Sima Yue said to Feng Xiang. Feng Xiang and the rest knew about what happened to her in the Hao clan and were furious. The Hao clan used to be alright. I didn't expect them to be such a dirty clan. Aunt Xiang, the Hao clan imprisoned many geniuses and even tortured my master and the rest for decades. I don't want to let them go. We can't tolerate such people. Feng Xiang nodded, agreeing with her actions. But they have a few pinnacle paragon rankers. Miss, Feng Xiang saw her troubled expression and looked at her speechlessly. Don't you know that we are all pinnacle paragon rankers? What? Sima Yue was stunned. They were all pinnacle paragon rankers? Our Feng people have a long history. There are many pinnacle paragon rankers. How can they be weak if they were chosen by the Lord to protect you? Feng Xiang said. Sima Yue opened her mouth. Although she knew that Feng Xiang and the rest were strong, she did not expect them to be experts among experts. Feng Ruyen was too good to her. She wondered if they would be unhappy to have pinnacle paragon rankers as her bodyguards. It was a waste of talent. Miss, we are all willing. Feng Xiang saw through her thoughts and smiled. No matter if they were willing or not, they had to be willing after Feng Ruyen gave the order. Aunt Xiang, you should deal with the jailers here first. Sima Yue said, after destroying the torture room, we will go back to get master and the rest. Okay. With Feng Xiang and the rest taking action, the entire island was dealt with in a short while. Sima Yue estimated that it was about time and returned to the prison. Chapter 1655. Su Yang held a small knife in his hand. The blade was as thin as a cicada's wing. The saber rose and fell, but there was not a single drop of blood on it. It had to be said that every piece of meat he cut was very thin and placed neatly on a plate. Sima Yue felt that she might not eat beef hot pot for a long time. The 10th elder lay on the ground. There was no fear of death in his eyes, only anger. She was especially excited when she saw Sima Yue walk in. You better not be so agitated. Sima Yue walked over. Many of your blood vessels are already broken. If you get too agitated, it will speed up the blood flow and increase the burden on your heart. You will be closer to death. I didn't think that there would be a time when we would be pecked in the eye by an eagle. The 10th elder said through gritted teeth. Don't you know that you will run into ghosts if you walk at night for too long? Sima Yue said calmly, not everyone is someone you can afford to offend. Do you think you are? The 10th elder knew her identity. She was just an outsider who didn't even have a number here. Am I not? Sima Yue smiled. I'll let you know what it's like to kick an iron plate. Humph, don't think that you can do anything to my family just because you set me up. You're nothing here. The 10th elder was very confident in his clan. I know, but I didn't say that I would do it myself. Sima Yue said, you guys have locked up so many geniuses for so long. You definitely won't be merciful when you take revenge. Pfft, those are just people who have some talent in a certain field. In terms of strength, what are they? You can't underestimate the power of anger. However, you won't be able to see the day your family is destroyed. Sima Yue said. At this time, Feng Xiang walked in and said, Miss, it's all settled. Okay, got it. Sima Yue nodded at her. When the 10th elder saw Feng Xiang, his eyes showed true fear. How could it be you? The Hao family is really something. They even dare to touch the young miss of the Feng people. Feng Xiang humphed coldly. She is the daughter of the Feng people? Impossible. She was just a member of a small family. How could she be the young miss of Feng people? She is not one of the Feng people's people. The 10th elder shouted in horror. Humph, open your dog eyes wider in your next life. Feng Xiang said and then said to Sima Yue, Miss, I just heard that the Hao family is colluding with another family. For safety reasons, we've contacted our family. Thank you for your hard work, Aunt Xiang. Sima Yue said gratefully. Feng Xiang stepped aside with a smile. Su Yang had never seen the Feng people before, but he had heard of their names. Seeing the 10th elder's reaction, he knew that the Feng people were definitely not an ordinary family. Otherwise, he would not be so afraid. He glanced at Sima Yue. No wonder she was so confident that she could save everyone. Sima Yue walked over and squatted beside the 10th elder. She reached out and asked Su Yang for his knife. Actually, I didn't want you to die so early. She said unwillingly, but I have to get some information from you. You're really lucky. With that, she stabbed the small knife into the 10th elder's body. Su Yang did not expect Sima Yue to really kill him. He wanted to say something, but he saw her pick up the corpse and use her divine sense to enter his mind. After getting the information she wanted, she threw the body to the ground and pulled out the knife from his chest. She stood up and handed it to Su Yang. This knife is pretty good. It should feel good to torture him with this. Su Yang felt that he should thank her and praise her. Let's go. Sima Yue stepped over him and walked outside. Feng Xiang quickly followed. He did not know what kind of girl she was. If he could leave this place, he wanted to ask his sister about it. As for the people lying on the ground, he stabbed each of them when he passed by and sent them to hell. When he came out, he saw a group of peak paragon ranks outside. He was so scared that he almost dropped his knife. Actually, I really want to blow this place up myself. But in order not to alert them, I can only forget about it. Sima Yue said to Jiang Junxian. Su Jin and Gulang were injured many times here. She really wanted to destroy this place. Master and the others won't care about this. Jiang Junxian said, but we better go there quickly. If they know about this and hurt Master and the others, it will be troublesome. Sigh, let's go. Sima Yue sighed. The boat can't fit so many people. Su Yang said. And the target was too big. Sima Yue took out the little realm and let them all in. Only Jiang Junxian, Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao were left. They came to the port and a small boat floated on the water. They went up and rowed the boat towards the island where they were imprisoned. When they were almost there, Su Yang said to them, It's easy to be discovered if we go up from here. I know a secret place. Let's row this way. At this time, he was with them, so they didn't have to worry about him cheating. They rowed according to what he said. Soon, they arrived at a sheltered bay. They flew up from here and didn't see anyone patrolling. How did you find this place? Aren't you always with them? Although Su Yang was in charge of the torture room, there was never anyone left by his side. Although they said they were for him to run errands, they were just monitoring him. Someone escaped once. When we came here, we caught him here. So we remembered this place. Su Yang said. After so many years, you never gave up on leaving, right? Su Xiao said. Su Yang looked at the sea. He never thought of staying here, even if the Hao family promised him many benefits. Junior sister, are we going to find Master and the others? Han Miaoshuang asked. No need. We'll go directly to the Hao family to settle the score. Sima Yuyue said, I've already made arrangements with Master. However, Su Yang realized that the place Sima Yuyue went wasn't where the Hao family lived. Where are we going? He asked. Doesn't the Hao family have a precious place here? Of course, we're going to destroy their source. Sima Yuyue smiled. Destroy their source? Su Yang saw the smile on Sima Yuyue's face and thought that this guy was really ruthless. He was going to take drastic measures to prevent the people here from using that place. Sima Yuyue followed the route in 10th Elder's mind and came to an inconspicuous courtyard at the side of the island. It's here? Aren't we going in? Han Miaoshuang asked. Wait for a while. Sima Yuyue said. Just as she finished speaking, a deafening explosion came from the island near the torture room. Chapter 1656. The successive explosions not only shocked the Hao family, even Han Miaoshuang and the others were stunned. Little junior sister, did you do it? Su Xiao asked blankly. Didn't you say that you wouldn't alert the enemy? Han Miaoshuang was puzzled. What I said at that time was that it was a pity that I couldn't blow it up myself. I didn't say that I wouldn't blow it up. Sima Yuyue said, I've left a few scarlet bees to release the thunderbolt bombs once they receive my orders. That thunderbolt bomb has been modified. All you need to do is use fire. The people from the Hao family have gone over, Su Yang reminded the few people who were talking. It wasn't just the Hao clan's elders and guards. Even 2 peak monarch realm experts had gone over. What should we do? What we need to do is actually very simple. Sima Yuyue called Feng Xiang and the rest out. Aunt Xiang, we'll have to trouble you when those people arrive. No problem, Feng Xiang replied. Little junior sister, you haven't said that we're going to. Han Miaoshuang swallowed her words when she saw the small metal ball she took out and took it with a grin. Should we set up a barrier? Otherwise, the entire island won't be enough for us to blow up. Sima Yuyue thought it was feasible, so she asked Feng Xiang to set up a barrier to block the power of the explosion. Do you want to come along? Sima Yuyue passed a thunderbolt bomb to Su Yang. What is this? How do I use it? Su Yang asked. Sima Yuyue told him how to use the thunderbolt bomb. Did you use this to blow up the torture chamber? Su Yang asked curiously. Yes. Sima Yuyue gave him a few more. Then, she flew into the air and threw one towards the courtyard below. Boom! The explosion created a crater in the corner of the courtyard. I'll do it too. Han Miaoshuang threw one down as well, blowing up half of the courtyard. Su Xiao and Jiang Junxian also threw 2 down. It was Su Yang's first time playing this game. He felt that it was not bad and threw 2 more down. It didn't take long for the courtyard to be reduced to ruins. Ever since they threw the first thunderbolt bomb, a few peak monarch realm experts came over to kill them. But before they could get close, they were stopped by Feng Xiang and the rest. That was why Sima Yuyue and the others had a good time. Over at the Hao family's 5th elder's side, the person he sent to the torture chamber had yet to send back any news, but the same thing had happened here. He rushed over with his guards, and what he saw was the scene of his own clan elder fighting with a few people. They were well aware of the strength of their own clan elder. They didn't expect that the newcomer would be able to fight them to a draw. No, the other party seemed to have a slight advantage. In addition, there was also a group of people outside, preventing them from approaching. However, Sima Yuyue, who should be in the torture chamber, was leading people to blow up their foundations. Sima Yuyue, you dare! 5th elder shouted loudly, attracting Sima Yuyue's attention. She stopped and flew to the front of the crowd, confronting the fifth elder. Did you blow up the torture chamber too? Fifth elder's face was as black as it could get. Even if Sima Yuyue didn't answer, he could guess it from her voice. Yes. Sima Yuyue nodded. Then, she took out a thunderbolt bomb. She injected spiritual energy into it and threw it behind her. It landed firmly on the ruins and destroyed everything. Fifth elder was so angry that he couldn't say anything. His hand trembled as he pointed at her. This troublemaker. You want to kill me? Come here. Sima Yuyue hooked her finger at him provocatively. Who are you? Me? Am I not your prisoner? Impossible. You did it on purpose. Fifth elder finally reacted. Why did things happen on the island one after another the moment she arrived? She had a plan. You guessed right. I did it on purpose. I haven't thanked you for bringing me here. Otherwise, how could I find my master and the rest? Your master? Yes. My master and teacher. Who are they? Hey, they're coming over. Sima Yuyue pointed at the people who flew over from the dormitory area. Almost everyone who was imprisoned was there. The leaders were Su Jin and Gulang. How is this possible? Fifth elder shouted. How could those people come out? It was impossible for them to break the enchantment. What's impossible about it? Your enchantment isn't indestructible. As long as you have the key, how could you not come out? Sima Yuyue said. Their space rings had been taken off. How could they refine? It's you? Fifth elder stared at Sima Yuyue. He didn't need her to answer. Just by looking at her expression, he knew that she was the one who did it. Sima Yuyue called out Little Rock. She let him carry her and Su Xiao and the rest in the air to watch those people deal with the Hao family. Before leaving Su Jin and the rest, she gave the antidote to Hua Hua and the rest. She told them to pass it to Su Jin and Gulang. Then, she took advantage of the chaos that she caused to release all the imprisoned people. These people had been imprisoned here for so long. Their hatred towards the Hao family was as great as the sea. Now that they were free, they would naturally seek revenge. Knowing that they were all here, they naturally came over. Usually, they weren't strong. However, with the support of hatred and the Hao family being suppressed by the Feng people, it wouldn't be difficult for them to take revenge. At this time, they didn't need to participate. Let them do as they pleased. After Feng Xiang and the rest got rid of those few peak paragon ranks, they didn't do anything else. Instead, they came to Sima Yuyue's side. They would only occasionally make a move when those people were no match for the Hao family. After half an hour, there wasn't a single Hao family member left alive on the island. Only now did those people truly believe that they had regained their freedom. Master. Sima Yuyue threw an interspatial ring to Su Jin. Su Jin looked at the things inside and was overjoyed. He gave one to each of them. Sima Yuyue quickly formed a protective layer to isolate the power of the explosion. Boom! 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 Those people threw all the thunderbolt bombs onto the island. The power caused the entire island to sink. From now on, there would no longer be a place of imprisonment, and no one would ever live a life of darkness in this small place again. Those people who were already disappointed in leaving had their eyes red as they watched the island slowly sink into the sea. Some women even cried. They would never be imprisoned again. Sima Yuyue waited for them to calm down before saying, "If you guys continue to be so agitated, we won't be able to go back today." The Hao family should have received the news. They must have set up an ambush on our way back. I'm afraid this sea region won't be easy to travel. The Hao family imprisoned all of you for so many years. Don't you guys want to avenge your humiliation? Yes. The unanimous answer resounded across the sea. The higher-ups of the Hao family had already received the news that something had happened over there, but they did not expect them to come to their door so quickly, so they were caught off guard. As for those juniors who didn't know about the situation and weren't prepared, many of them died in this unexpected disaster. By the time the Hao clan reacted, they had already flown into the air and clashed with the Black Tortoise City. The power of the battle had destroyed more than half of the dumbfounded Black Tortoise City. Those clans who reacted quickly activated their defensive array. They were not in the center of the battlefield, so the defensive array was enough to protect them. Let's go and see what's going on. Many people flew into the air above their houses, determined not to leave the range of the defensive array. Why is the Hao family fighting with the outsiders? Since when were there so many outsiders on the island? The people of Black Tortoise City were extremely shocked. Some of them had already guessed something. They had long heard that the Hao family had acted against the outsiders. It looked like this matter was true. With the Hao family's strength, these people who had been locked up should not have been able to escape. Otherwise, this matter would not have persisted for hundreds of years. Looking at the situation, it should be that those who had been locked up had all escaped. Suddenly, everyone realized that there were a few familiar faces in that group of people. The ones who left the deepest impression were Sima Yuyue, Su Jin, and Gulang. Su Jin and Gulang had not participated in the Crimson Pearl Convention for long. Because it was the first time outsiders had won against the people on the island, everyone had a deep impression of them. As for Sima Yuyue, there was no need to talk about her. This descending convention had only been over for a few days. When the Wu family head saw Sima Yuyue and Gulang together, he thought that she had actually managed to find them. It was just that he did not know how they had escaped. Almost everyone from the Hao family had moved out. Those old fellows were blocked by Feng Xiang and the rest, but there were still quite a number of others. Yuyue, if this carries on, everyone is going to lose. Bring those 3 fellows and leave quickly. Su Jin shouted at Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue thought for a moment, retreated to one side and opened up her little realm to call out the powerful people from Blood Fiend City to help. F***K, why are there so many people again? Seeing the sudden increase in people, the Hao family could not help but curse. With the addition of the people from Blood Fiend City, the pressure on the outsiders had lessened by quite a bit. They finally had a chance to catch their breath. But before they could rejoice, they felt a movement in the space. A group of people came out from the space tunnel and directly helped the Hao family. Sima Yuyue did not know which city and which force they were from. But since they came to help the Hao family at this moment, they should not be any good forces. Hence, she did not show any mercy when she attacked. At the start, both parties were still able to maintain a stalemate. But this situation changed after a few peak Paragon experts from the other family came over. They should have received Shaoxiang from the Hao family and knew that they had a lot of experts. Hence, they directly moved the experts from the other side over. Hence, the number of experts they had to deal with was lesser and they were able to suppress Feng Xiang and the rest. Just as the outsiders were being suppressed and retreated, someone wanted to take the opportunity to sneak an attack on Sima Yuyue. But he was burnt to ashes by the flames that suddenly appeared on her body. Chirp, following a long chirp, the divine vermilion bird appeared in front of Sima Yuyue. He hovered in front of Sima Yuyue and burned all the people who surrounded her. Divine vermilion bird? This time, the people who were watching the show were not just watching the show. As a place that was linked to the divine clan, from the 4 main cities, they knew how important the vermilion bird, azure dragon, white tiger and black tortoise were. They always thought that the 4 great divine beasts had disappeared without a trace. They did not expect to see them with their own eyes one day. Especially the people from the other force who came later. When they saw the vermilion bird, they were stunned. This vermilion bird is not that powerful. Everyone, don't be afraid. Some of you will hold back the vermilion bird. The 2 of you will attack that little girl. As long as she dies, the vermilion bird will die too. Now that things had come to this, there was no turning back. What they had to do was to move forward and wipe out all the people who were blocking their way. The 2 peak Paragon experts received the order and immediately attacked Sima Yuyue. Although she had more external strength, her own strength was weak. The attack of two peak Paragon experts was not something that she could withstand. The spiritual energy was in front of her in the blink of an eye. Chapter 1658. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember this site's address to read the latest chapters of Your Crazy Wife, Divine Dr. Fifth Missy. She was rooted to the spot by the two Paragons' divine sense and couldn't move at all. This was the advantage of absolute strength. No matter what schemes you have, in front of strength, you can only be abused. Sima Yuyue suddenly recalled the dead knot that Yin Lin and the rest talked about. If she was destined to have such a calamity, would it be today? If she died, would Father and the rest be very sad? She could already see Father and Master's bloodthirsty eyes, twisted faces and helpless cries. She actually wanted to tell them that nothing would happen to her. Wu Lingyu had sent an old man to stay by her side. In this world, there was no one who could take her life. But she couldn't make a sound. Ha! An unfamiliar voice rang in her ears, then she felt her shoulder being grabbed. She was taken away a second before the spiritual energy touched her. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Everyone thought that she was dead for sure, but who would have thought that she would appear in another place? When they saw the person who saved her, everyone was stunned, including Sima Yuyue. She wasn't familiar with this person, but she had seen him before, and it wasn't a happy meeting. Because he snorted and almost took Fatty Chu's life. Why is it you, Xiao Tu? She looked at the person who carried her like a chick in surprise. That person let go of her, snorting, "Do you think I want to?" "Big sister." A deep voice came from behind. Sima Yuyu's face lit up. She turned her head and saw little Tu, who had already grown up, flying over from behind. Xiao Tuesday, she flew over, grabbing his arm. He didn't expect to see him here. This was one of the happiest things that happened to him after he found his master. Xiao Tu was fully grown. He looked like a man in his 20s, his features much more handsome than before. But there were still shadows of when he was young. "Sister, are you okay?" Little Tu grabbed her hand and pulled her over to take a look. That moment just now had almost scared his soul out of him. Fortunately, he came in time and asked the elders to save her. "I'm fine." Sima Yuyue patted his hand and said, "Why are you here?" "I knew you were here. I was worried that something might have happened to you, so I came to find you. Fortunately, we rushed over." Little Tu rejoiced. "How did you know we were here?" Sima Yuyue nodded. "You went to look for Beigong and the rest." "I went to look for Sister Beigong and the others first. Then, I found out that you went to the Sima family, so I went to the Sima family. In the end, they said that you came here. This place isn't very far from where we live. If we knew you were here, we wouldn't have had to take so many detours." Little Tu said with a smile. "How could they be willing to let you out?" "Forget about Beigong and the others. Let's not talk about this for now. We'll have a good chat after this matter is resolved." Sima Yuyue realized that it was not a good time to chat. She might be chased away if she was not careful. "All right. Let's get rid of these people first." After Little Tu finished speaking, he pulled Sima Yuyue and joined the battle. Sima Yuyue realized that Little Tu's strength was even stronger than hers. It seemed that his bloodline had been completely awakened, and it was very powerful. Thinking about it carefully, this was also within her expectations. The last time she saw that person, he had a conversation with Feng Ruyen. From the looks of it, they knew each other. What kind of small fry is he to be acquainted with the Lord of the Phoenix clan? However, even with the addition of Little Tu and his elders, it did not change the strength of both sides. They were still at a disadvantage. At this time, the Wu family brought their elders to join the battle. However, they were not helping the Hao family, but helping Sima Yuyue and the others. At this time, it was not about numbers, but about strength. Although the Wu family did not have many people joining, they were able to suppress the Wu family's strength to a certain extent. "The one surnamed Wu, what are you doing?" Hao Ji roared at Wu family head. The one surnamed Hao, can't you see? I am obviously adding insult to injury. Wu family head's words almost made Sima Yuyue kneel down. You have done so many shady things. How can we allow you to ruin the atmosphere of the island? We have to get rid of the cancer on the island. Everyone, family head, even if you want to take advantage of the situation, you don't have to be so obvious. Fortunately, the last sentence was still passable. The one surnamed Wu, if you want to take the opportunity to destroy my Hao family and monopolize Black Tortoise City, then let's see if you have the ability to do so. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow its prey. After speaking, Hao Ji took out a crystal ball-like item and raised it high above his head. The people on the island were all shocked by the item he took out. The Wu family retreated to the edge of the battlefield. Wu family head's face was so dark that it could drip water. Hao Ji, you actually got your hands on this item. Ha ha ha, the one surnamed Wu, didn't you want to help these people and take the opportunity to suppress us? Do you dare to come up now? Hao Ji laughed loudly. The crystal ball emitted a multicolored light in the air. It looked very holy and dreamy, but the people on the island kept it a secret. What is this? Sima Yuyue asked. The people on the Hao family's side all retreated. Both sides were in a stalemate. However, looking at the Hao family's expression, they seemed to be doomed. This is a multicolored stone, a type of spirit stone buried deep in the island. It can affect people's spiritual energy, especially outsiders. Wu family head explained. Sima Yuyue looked at the light it emitted. When the light shone on her body, it did cause her spiritual energy to be somewhat obstructed. She guessed that the reason why outsiders could not cultivate on the island was related to this item. It seemed that their situation was a bit troublesome. If they could not use their spiritual energy, then wouldn't they be at the mercy of the people on the island? She raised her head and looked at the sky. Feng Xiang and the others had gone up to fight. Looking at the situation, it would not end anytime soon. However, this also meant that this item was useless against the Feng people. Thinking of this, the aura on her body slowly changed. The aura that belonged to the Feng people was released. When the light shone on her body, she did not feel as uncomfortable as before. It can also be like this. She moved her hand and smiled at Hao Ji. Before Hao Ji could understand the meaning of her smile, she had already disappeared from where she stood. Almost at the same time, she appeared in front of Hao Ji. While he was not paying attention, she attacked him at close range. After 2 exchanges, she obtained the multicolored stone and quickly retreated. How is this possible? Hao Ji looked at the aura emitted from her body, and his face sank. How can you be someone from the Feng people? Feng Xiang and the others went to the outer space as soon as they arrived. Hao Ji and the others did not discover their identities. Now that they saw Sima Yuyue emitting the aura of the Feng people, their faces changed. Chapter 1659. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember this site's address, so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, Divine Dr. Fifth Miss at any time. If she is from Feng people, thinking of this possibility, Hao Ji's body trembled subconsciously. No, how can she be from Feng people? Hao Ji denied this terrifying thought in his mind. Qi Yan. Sima Yuyue threw the multicolored stone to Qi Yan. Qi Yan pinched it with his hand, and the multicolored stone turned into colorful powder. The power of imprisonment on those people disappeared instantly. How can it be? How did they provoke such a person? Hao Ji, we have no way back now. What do you mean by this? If Feng people know about this, I'm afraid we're all finished. The people who came to support Hao family shouted at him. Hao Ji woke up a lot. That's right, now the arrow is on the bow, he can't turn back. Even if he lets Sima Yuyue go today, will she let bygones be bygones? Of course not. So, his only choice is to keep her here forever. Kill everyone. He ordered. Who dares to touch our miss? There was another movement in the air, the space tunnel was opened, and then, thousands of Feng people walked out from it. This scene scared the hell out of everyone present. Mississippi, those people saluted Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue saw that the leaders were actually Feng Feng and Yuan Yuan, and said with some surprise, "Why are you two here?" His Honor heard that something happened to you here. Originally, he wanted to come over personally, but he was concocting a very important pill, so he asked us to come over. Feng Feng said as she looked around at those people. They didn't do anything to you, right? Other than wanting to kill me, there's nothing else. Sima Yuyue stretched out her hand to touch Feng Feng's head. "Humph," Lord said, "your life in this lost land is too smooth, and you have forgotten your duty. You even dare to touch our Feng people's miss, you're really tired of living." Yuan Yuan said, "Feng people listen, whoever wants to hurt miss, kill without mercy." Yes. The Feng people surrounded the Hao family and the people who came to support them. When they were about to attack, more people rushed over. Hey, don't be so angry, little girl. Didn't you say that you don't want to sink my island? Sima Yuyue heard this voice and couldn't help but twitch her mouth. She looked at Tua Xiaogong and Miko-sama and shrugged helplessly. Tua Xiaogong stopped beside Sima Yuyue and said, "Little girl, it's not enough for you to play with the Vermilion Bird City, you still want to overturn the Black Tortoise City? No way." Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at him. "I didn't touch those who didn't provoke me. If you want to be a peacemaker, don't you think you should give the Hao clan an explanation for what they did?" "Who said I'm going to be a peacemaker?" Tua Xiaogong smiled. "I just want you to keep a low profile." The young ladies of Feng people don't need to keep a low profile. Feng Feng snorted coldly. "Isn't it just a small family? How dare they kill our young lady?" "Tua Xiaogong, you should be glad that His Honor didn't directly order your island to be sunk." Yuan Yuan added. Glad, very glad." Tua Xiaogong smiled and said. "Island Master Tua, let's not talk about nonsense. Why did you come here? If it's to offend the Hao family, then forget it. Even if I want to let them go, those who have been locked up for so many years won't be willing. Although we are outsiders, there's nothing wrong with taking revenge." Sima Yuyue said in a deep voice. "I don't care about the Hao family, but leave the rest to me to punish. They didn't directly participate in this matter." Tua Xiaogong said. Sima Yuyue looked at Su Jin and then looked at the others. She was a bit troubled. Actually, she didn't care. After all, only the Hao family did this to her, but she didn't know what the others thought. Tua Xiaogong was the island master and had helped her before. Although it was under the premise that he cheated her of a large sum of money, she had to admit it. Those people saw that Sima Yuyue was troubled and said, "Miss Yuyue, we definitely can't let the Hao family go. We don't care about the others. We believe that the island master will give us an explanation." "That's right. We believe in you." The Hao family heard their words and their faces turned ashen. The other family let out a sigh of relief. At least their lives were saved. "Attack!" Feng Feng gave the order. The Feng clan's people and everyone else who had been locked up attacked together. The Hao clan's people were exterminated in front of everyone's eyes. Only now did those people realize that there was no one in this world that they couldn't offend. If they were the ones who offended her, would they still be alive today? During this process, Tua Xiaogong and the witch didn't move at all. After it was over, Sima Yuyue didn't forget to remind everyone to go to the Hao family to find some comfort. Therefore, after this, the Hao family was completely destroyed. Not long after, Feng Xiang and the others also came back from the outer space. The Hao family was killed, but they also suffered heavy injuries. "Miss, since it's over, we'll go back." Feng Feng said, "Feng Xiang and the others are injured. We'll leave some guards for you." Sima Yuyue wanted to say that it wasn't necessary. However, seeing his firm attitude, she didn't say anything. Anyway, leaving Feng Xiang and the others was the same as leaving a few more people. Feng Feng asked the strongest people to stay behind, and then she and Yuan brought the rest back. The Feng people didn't like to get involved in these things. This had always been their habit. Now that she had the identity of the Feng people, no one on this island dared to touch her. Unless some idiots wanted to end up like the Hao family. Island Master Tua, didn't you go out to travel? Why did you come back? The others went to plunder the Hao family. Sima Yue chatted with Tua Xiaogong. Our ship was already outside. When we heard that you went missing, we rushed back. Who knew that we would see this situation when we came back? Tua Xiaogong was also speechless. I didn't expect you to have such a background. I didn't see it clearly at that time. Sima Yue didn't expect that the reason he came back was because she went missing. She didn't seem to know him. Why did he take care of her from the start? Don't look at me like that. I'll think that you're interested in me. Tua Xiaogong touched his face. He was extremely narcissistic. She wanted to slap him and tell him that narcissism was an illness that needed to be treated. After thinking about it, she held it in and asked the question in her heart. Why do I take care of you so much? Tua Xiaogong smiled. If you feel embarrassed, you can pay me more crystals. Sima Yue. Tua Xiaogong smiled and went to deal with the rest of the matters. Some things couldn't be said. Chapter 1660. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember this site's address to read the latest chapters of A Crazy Wife, Miracle Dr. Fifth Missy. Sima Yue went to find Master Wu and thanked him. No matter what his motive was, he had helped her objectively. If he hadn't led the Wu family to help defend for a while, she wouldn't have been able to wait for reinforcements. You're welcome. Without us, I believe that you'll be fine. You'll be fine too. Elder Wu smiled and waved his hand. Although his gaze towards Sima Yue changed slightly, it wasn't flattery and was magnanimous. Sima Yue liked his attitude. She chatted with him for a while before saying that she had something to do and left. Little Tu was not far away from her. Seeing that she had finished talking with Master Wu, he hurried over. Done? And leave the matters here to them. Let's find a place to chat. Sima Yue pulled Little Tu and wanted to find a quiet place to chat. Before she walked away, she saw a group of people flying towards her excitedly. Little Tu stood in front of her and looked at them cautiously, not allowing them to get close to Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at his broad back and thought of him saying when he was young that he would definitely become strong to protect them. She smiled and her eyes were still wet. Who are you? Little Tu asked coldly. If we spoke to them like this in the past, they would have turned hostile. But now that she was one of them, they couldn't make her angry. We're here to find Miss Yue. An elder said. Sima Yue tugged at Little Tu's clothes and he moved aside. She looked at Tao Yi Xian. Yi Xian, why are you here? The elder was stunned. She knew Tao Yi Xian. Tao Yi Xian walked forward and bowed to Sima Yue. These are the heads of the various families in Vermilion Bird City. We heard that the Vermilion Bird had appeared, so we came to pay our respects. The Vermilion Bird has always been our guardian. From the name of Vermilion Bird City, Sima Yue knew that they must have something to do with Vermilion Bird. However, she was very interested and asked Qi Yan. After getting an affirmative answer, she said to them, Qi Yan agreed to see you. If you have anything to say, you can say it to him. After saying this, she called Qi Yan out and left with Little Tuesday. She wasn't interested in what Crimson Flame would say to them. Right now, she wanted to talk to Little Tuesday. The two of them arrived at the seaside. This place was far away from the hustle and bustle of Black Tortoise City. The golden beach, the undulating tides, and the warm sunlight were the perfect place to reminisce. The two of them left 2 long footprints on the beach. How is your life now? Sima Yue did not forget how helpless she felt when he was taken away by Huabin. We're fine, especially after Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior came to find us recently. Our strength has increased by quite a bit. Sima Yue was stunned. Supreme Fifth Spirit Warrior? How did they get together? He has some blood relations with the ancient divine ape bloodline, so, Sima Yue understood. The ancient divine ape and Supreme Fifth Spirit Warrior both belonged to the ape clan. It was normal for the two clans to be related. However, she did not expect Supreme Fifth Spirit Warrior to find the divine ape clan. Supreme Fifth Spirit Warrior's identity is special. You have to be careful in the future. Don't let others take advantage of you. She warned. We know. Only you would say that. Little Two said with a smile. That smile was as bright as the sun in the past. Seeing that he understood, she did not say much and changed the topic. She asked, your blood has been completely awakened. Yes, after returning to the clan, they awakened my blood. I no longer have the blood of the human race. Speaking of this, Little Two was still depressed. He did not want to give up the blood of the human race. However, those old fellows in the clan insisted on doing it for him. Since he was young, he felt that he was a human. Now that he had completely become a spirit beast, he could not cross this hurdle in his heart. What does a human have to do with spirit beasts? You are still you. Sima Yue patted his shoulder, telling him not to think too much. Yes, as long as you don't think I'm weird, I don't care about others. Little Two replied. However, you shouldn't despise me. In the past, when others abandoned me, you didn't despise me for being a monster. You were so cute when you were young. Why would we think you were a monster? Sima Yue said with a smile. Yes, you've grown up. You're not as cute as before. Why don't I change back? Forget it. You'll get used to it after looking at it a few more times. Sima Yue said. Oh right, you saw Bei Gong and the others last time. Are they okay? They're all fine. They had a fortuitous encounter a while ago. Their strength has increased by quite a bit. Especially Brother Fatty. They said that he was stimulated and his strength is increasing. They said that when everyone's strength is stable, they will look for you. Little Two said. But I think it's more likely that you'll go back and see them. Yes, I'll go back and take a look when I go back this time. Sima Yue said. It's time to go back and take a look. Unknowingly, she had left Heartbreak Valley for 10 years. She didn't know how everyone was doing now. Time, to a cultivator, was simply too easy to pass. Han Miao Shuang and the others knew that she and Little Two had a lot to talk about, so they didn't call her over. However, Crimson Flame came to look for her not long after. He didn't say anything and returned to the Spirit Pagoda directly. When she and Little Two returned, Black Tortoise City had already returned to its usual life. The Hao clan had become a topic of conversation for people in the past. As for the people in Vermilion Bird City, they were all sent away by Crimson Flame. They wouldn't look for her. Not long after she went back, Su Jin and the others came looking for her. They said that everyone wanted to see her again and prepared to leave. This island gave them too many bad memories. Sima Yue didn't want to see them at first. However, she thought that it would be good karma in the future. No one would dislike having more friends. Hence, she went to see them and exchanged some pleasantries. She even found out about their identities and how to find them. Many of these people came from big forces. Their status wasn't low. They knew that Paramount Valley was developing towards the inner regions. They all said that it would be convenient for them in the future. With this, it would be much more convenient for Paramount Valley to do things in the future. After a round of conversation, half a day had passed by the time everyone left. The others left, but the little old man remained in the courtyard. Sima Yue saw that he didn't leave. She asked curiously, Old Grandpa, why aren't you leaving? Didn't we agree to go to Paramount Valley after leaving? The little old man said. Sima Yue smiled and said, Old Grandpa, don't tease me. I didn't know your identity before. You're the vice sect master of the 100 changing doors. How would I dare to let you go? Su Jin was the one who told her about the little old man's identity. She was surprised when she found out. It could be said that they were fated. This belongs to you. They gave the original to me. I can't give it to you. However, I made a copy. I hope you don't mind. Sima Yuyue took out a copy and handed it to the little old man. Chapter 1661. The little old man took the rubbing and looked at it. He was stunned. Why is this book with you? The little old man asked. Someone gave it to me when I was young. Sima Yuyue said apologetically. Back then, Wu Lingyu had gone to visit the graves of other people's ancestors. She couldn't say that. Back then, Big Wei and Little Wei wanted me to give it to them. Now, I'm returning it to you. You know Big Wei and Little Wei? The little old man had been locked up here for too long, and there were many things that he did not know about the outside world, so he did not understand her relationship with the 100 changing doors. They used to stay in the heavenly sect for a period of time. I'm a student there. Sima Yuyue did not say anything else to make connections. The little old man put away the stone rubbing. He did not reject the offer. Many of the 100 changing gates array formations were not as good as before. With this, they would definitely be able to perfect them in the future. This was also what the 100 changing gate was currently pursuing. He bowed towards Sima Yuyue and said, I can't thank you enough. If you need the 100 changing doors in the future, just let me know. Sima Yuyue helped him up and said with a smile, if I need your help in the future, I won't hesitate. With her words, the little old man left with peace of mind. Only the master and his disciples were left in the courtyard. Master, let's prepare to leave too, Sima Yuyue said. You guys have been missing for so long. Director Mao and Director Fan are very worried. That works too. I don't want to stay on this island anymore. Su Jin thought of those unpleasant things and felt depressed. Is Principal Yuan in the academy? Gu Lang asked. Sima Yuyue then remembered that Yuan Xiaojie was not around either. Isn't Dean Yuan with you? Su Xiaoxiao asked. No. Although we left the academy together, we separated later on. When we came here, he said he had something to do. Gu Lang and Su Jin looked at each other, clearly thinking of something. Master, did something happen to Principal Yuan? Han Miao Shuang asked. That's hard to say. Su Jin said, with that old fellow's temperament, there shouldn't be any problems. It should be. Otherwise, if Director Mao and the others knew that we were coming to look for Master, they would have informed us. Since he didn't say anything, then Dean Yuan should have sent a message back. Jiang Jun Xian analyzed. Sima Yuyue felt the same way, so they threw Yuan Xiaojie to the back of their minds. Since they had decided to leave, they didn't delay any further. Since there was no one who wanted to say goodbye, they headed straight for the ferry. He didn't expect to see a large ship when he arrived. Tua Xiaogong and the witch were standing on the deck. Sima Yuyue looked at Tua Xiaogong. The corner of her mouth twitched. Don't tell me you want to be a helmsman again? What? You don't believe in my ability? Tua Xiaogong pulled a long face and said. Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at him. It's not that I don't believe in your rowing ability, but I believe in your ability to trick people. I don't have that many crystals to give you. Ha ha ha. Tua Xiaogong laughed. I won't charge you crystals this time. Really? Of course. Young Tua smiled respectfully, come on up. That fellow has sent the others. Now there's only my small boat left. Sima Yuyue also noticed that this boat was smaller than the previous one, but it looked much more exquisite. When they went up, Tua Xiaogong ordered the boat to set sail. I thought you wanted to personally steer. Sima Yuyue pouted. Last time it was for fun. This time I want to go out by myself. Tua Xiaogong snorted. So you guys are on the way. He laid on the rocking chair with his hands behind his head. He was very relaxed. No wonder you didn't charge us this time. Sima Yuyue walked to his side and sat down on the deck. My charges are very reasonable. Tua Xiaogong smiled. How is it reasonable? A lot of it is useless. Just because you don't use it now doesn't mean you won't use it in the future. What do you mean? Sima Yuyue asked. Some things are not limited to the present. You will know how important it is in the future. Tua Xiaogong stopped talking and closed his eyes to bask in the sun. Sima Yuyue wanted to ask him what he meant by that. Why did he seem to be hinting at something in his words? But when she saw him basking in the sun, she knew that he wouldn't say anything even if she asked. Later on, Tua Xiaogong didn't say anything. When they reached the shore, Tua Xiaogong chased them off the boat. He didn't say anything and just left. Sima Yuyue wanted to kick him. They knew each other after all. Did he have to be so arrogant? Also, didn't he say that he wanted to travel? What did he mean by not getting off the boat? What's so good about this place? I'll go to other places. If we're fated, we might meet again. Sima Yuyue and the rest stood by the shore and realized that he wasn't heading back. What does he mean? Han Miao Shuang came over and asked. Sima Yuyue was also confused. She shook her head and left with the rest. As the most urgent matter had been resolved, she felt much more relaxed, so she did not rush back. First, she sent a message to Director Mao and the rest. The group then slowly turned back, enjoying the scenery along the way, chatting, and relaxing everyone's mood. It was already half a year later when they returned to the Sima family. The Sima family was very happy to see them back. Sima Qing stared at Sima Yuyue and nodded, saying, "There's really nothing that can stop you." Sima Yuyue touched her nose. Was the old ancestor's evaluation of her too high? How long are you staying this time? Sima Ji Yuan asked. Just a short rest. Sima Yuyue replied, I have to accompany Master and the rest back to the academy. After that, I have to return to Paramount Valley. Feng'er and Xiang Yi's marriage has been delayed for too long. They insisted that they would only get married after I return. You've been busy with those things all these years. It's good to go out and relax. Sima He-shun said, but you must be careful. I know. After she returned to the clan, she revitalized the clan. She treated Feng Ru Yan's old illness, went to the hidden clan to ask for divine medicine for Sima Lu Xian, and went to the lost place to save her master. She had already completed most of the things that she had suppressed in her heart. If there was anything that she was worried about now, it would be that she hadn't found her mother and her family hadn't reunited. Well, although she was worried about Wu Lingyu, she believed in his ability. There would be no problem. If she wanted to find her mother, she had to go to the ghost realm. With her current strength, it was really difficult to go. Did she really have to wait for her strength to increase? She wanted to use the method that Mou gave her. She hesitated. Should she use this method to go to the ghost realm? If she went there, what kind of situation would she face? Was Deja ready there? Chapter 1662. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember the address of this site, so that you can read the latest chapters of Your Crazy Wife, Divine Dr. Fifth Miss at any time. It was still too early for her to think about the ghost realm. Although she had more external strength now, it was still beyond their reach when they went to the ghost realm. She was anxious, but it was of no use. However, not only was she thinking about it, others were also thinking about it, and she even knew about it. Yu, when I was playing with Xiaoxi and the family just now, I heard your master and master talking about it. Your master and your father were talking about the ghost realm. It seems like they are planning to secretly go there without telling you. Little Roar came to show his loyalty. Sima Yuyue was shocked and quickly ran to Sima Lu Xian's courtyard. Sure enough, she saw the two of them talking in the courtyard and stopped when they saw her. Father, Master, you want to secretly go to the ghost realm? She walked over and asked directly. Feng Zhixing blinked and wanted to refute but was interrupted by her. Little Roar and Xiaoxi heard it. A single sentence blocked the rest of Feng Zhixing's words. We didn't say we were going, we were just discussing. Sima Lu Xian knew his daughter. If she said so, she must have known. Father, Master, Yin Lin once said something, do you know? She walked to their side and sat down, staring at the two of them. What did he say? He said that only I can save Mother. How could he say such a thing? This was not in line with his identity as a fraud. For someone like him, he liked to say that heaven's secrets could not be revealed. He would not say something so certain. Sima Yuyue took out the 100 ghost banner and placed it on the stone table. What is this? Feng Zhixing asked. 100 ghost banner. Sima Yuyue explained the use of the 100 ghost banner and how she got it, then said, Cousin is planning to use this to save Mother. Why did Yin Lin say that I must get this? I'm in the human race, what's the use of getting this? If others can do it, why must I have this thing? The two of them were speechless by her question. They really didn't expect Yin Lin to say something like that. So, Father, Master, you can't go to the ghost realm secretly. When the time is right, I will go to the ghost realm to save Mother. Sima Yuyue said, if you don't agree, I will have to take extreme measures. Sima Lu Xian smiled, oh, what are you going to do to us? I'll let the scarlet bees keep an eye on you guys, watch you guys when you're bathing or going to the toilet. If anything happens to you guys, I'll know. If you lose your scarlet bees, I will know that you are up to no good. Sima Yuyue smiled cunningly. In order to protect themselves in their later years, the two of them had no choice but to promise her that they would not act rashly. That was why she did not release the scarlet bees to do bad things. However, she also promised them that if there was any action, she would definitely bring them along. Only then did the two sides reach an agreement that neither side would do anything behind the other's back. Sima Yuyue left after getting a satisfactory answer. She planned to return to the academy with Su Jin and the others to take a look. So after staying with Sima family for more than 10 days, they set off again and went to the central region to return to the academy. When they returned to the academy again, they stood at the entrance of the academy. Looking at the familiar scenery, they felt a little dazed. It seemed that they had left this place for a very long time. Life in the academy seemed to be very far away. Yuyue. A familiar voice sounded. It came from behind. Sima Yuyue turned around and saw Shui Rong and Ma Bo walking towards the entrance of the academy. The voice from before was still a little hesitant. Seeing her turn around, Shui Rong ran over in surprise. It's really you. When I saw your back just now, I was still a little uncertain. It's you guys. Sima Yuyue looked at the two of them. I met you guys when I first entered the inner courtyard. The first acquaintance I met when I came back is also you guys. Oh, we're so fated. Shui Rong said with a smile, did you guys just come back? Sima Yuyue nodded, I came here with Master and the others. They went back first. I wanted to come here to take a look and met you guys. Why are you still in the academy? According to their age and strength, they should be able to leave the academy already. We're both mentors of the outer courtyard now. Shui Rong said, we've only been here for 2 years. Ah, congratulations. I'll have to call you Teacher Shui and Teacher Ma in the future. Sima Yuyue laughed. She knew that some students would choose to stay in the academy after graduation, but it was very difficult. She didn't expect them to succeed. Don't make fun of us. We have nowhere to go. Shui Rong said, now that you're back and the people in the academy know, they'll probably go crazy. It can't be. I've been away for a long time. Sima Yuyue didn't believe it. But your name is still very famous in the academy. Shui Rong said, believe it or not, if I shout here, you won't be able to walk into the academy today. The things that she had done, one by one, had long spread throughout the academy. No matter if it was the incident in the dark forest or the fact that she had single-handedly turned the tide in Fair Eastern City, after so many years, it was still the topic of everyone's conversation outside of cultivation. Of course, this was also due to the academy's publicity. If others knew that such a person walked out of the academy, it would be so honorable. It was simply a living signboard. You won't trick me like that, right? Sima Yue wasn't worried. Shui Rong and Ma Bojian weren't bad friends. Hee, you guessed right. Shui Rong said, let's go in. Since you haven't been back for a long time, you can take the opportunity to see the scenery of the academy. Okay. Sima Yue and Little Two followed them into the academy gate. The scenery in front of them was still the same, but the students walking in the academy were not familiar to her. Things were still the same, but people had changed. This was the feeling. After chatting with Shui Rong and the rest for a while, she and Little Two went to the teleportation array to the inner region. The people guarding the teleportation array were still the same people. When they saw her enter, they all widened their eyes, as if they didn't react. When she and Little Two entered the teleportation array, they then stuttered, the person who just entered, is Sima Yue, right? That's right, it's her. Why did she suddenly come back? I didn't even react. A few students happened to come in from outside. Hearing their words, they asked, who are you talking about? Who's back? Sima Yue. Sima Yue, what's Sima Yue? Those students exclaimed, you're saying that Sima Yue is back? Why are you so surprised? Oh my god, my idol is really back. I'm going to inform everyone. That student said as he ran out. As he ran, he shouted that Sima Yue was back. Soon, everyone in the outer courtyard knew that she had returned. Then, the news quickly spread to the inner courtyard. When she saw the passionate students, she was so scared that she quickly called 1,000 resonance out to fuse with her. She changed her appearance to avoid those crazy people. Chapter 1663. It wasn't until they reached Mao Sanquan's office that she released her fusion with 1,000 resonance and returned to her original form. Everyone in the room laughed when they saw her patting her chest with a look of lingering fear. Why are these students so crazy now? She let out a long sigh. They weren't like this when she was in the academy, right? Why did they become even crazier after he left? Hee, you're now the idol of the entire academy. Although many people haven't seen you before, they've heard a lot about you, Fan Lei said with a smile. There's no need for this, right? This is too scary. Sima Yue was speechless. With them like this, how could she walk around the academy in peace? Why not? Everyone knows about what you've done outside. Word of it has spread like wildfire, and the entire academy knows about it. Especially when you chased all the ghost clansmen back in Fair Eastern City alone. The scene of the lightning tribulation of 10,000 Li was so spectacular that the students described it vividly. You made us old bones regret not being there to see how impressive you were, Fan Lei teased. Sima Yue, how was she awe-inspiring? He was clearly struck to the point of being half dead, all right? She felt that she could no longer play properly. At most, you can change your appearance every time you go out. Little Two looked at her speechless expression and explained. That's the only way. Sigh. She leaned against the chair weakly. Master, it seems that I have to leave early. To Paramount Valley? Su Jin asked. Sima Yue nodded. I came back because I wanted to take a look at the academy. Now that I've seen it and encountered such a situation, I naturally have to leave as soon as possible. Your brother is getting married, so we have to go and express our gratitude. I'll go with you. Su Jin said. You rascal, you just came back and you want to leave again? Are you going to leave the matters of the academy to me, an old fan? No. If I have to go, then I'll go. You can handle things in the academy. Mao Sanquan said unhappily. I haven't been back for decades. I don't know how to make these things for you. Su Jin disagreed. Hey, isn't old Fan here? Let him take care of it for you. Don't even think about it. Old Mao and I are going. You and Gulang haven't been back for so long. It's time for you to take care of it, Fan Lei protested. That won't do. Old Sue is right. We haven't dealt with these matters for a long time. There will be trouble. You'll be able to handle it. Gu Lang also disagreed. Besides, Old Sue is Yoyue's master, and I'm Yoyue's teacher. Her brother is getting married, so of course we'll go. That's right, it's better for you guys to stay here. Right, Yoyue? Su Jin pulled Sima Yoyue along. Sima Yoyue did not expect that they would draw the fire of war to her. However, she did not intend to get involved. Instead, she looked at Mao Sanquan and asked, Director Mao, is Dean Yuan doing well? Mao Sanquan was obviously taken aback for a moment. His expression was a little unnatural, but he immediately smiled and said, he's fine. There's news coming back from time to time. Sima Yoyue understood that there were some secrets that he could not tell her. However, since he was still so calm, it meant that there shouldn't be any big problems. Knock knock knock, there was a knock on the door. Mao Sanquan said, come in. That person pushed the door open and entered. The first person he saw was Sima Yoyue. She really came back. It seemed that the news outside was true. Si Miao, you're here. Have you sorted everything out? Mao Sanquan's voice interrupted Wang Si Miao's thoughts. He nodded at Sima Yoyue and then walked to Mao Sanquan's desk. He handed over the sorted information to him. We've sent people to investigate these two places, but we didn't find them. Also, the two small towns beside them have been completely wiped out. His voice was as cold as usual, but this time, it contained suppressed anger. These people are getting more and more arrogant. Fan Lei and Mao Sanquan's faces were filled with anger. What happened? Gu Lang asked. It's about those undead. Mao Sanquan said angrily, in the past, we didn't care about this matter in the inner regions, but now it's in the middle regions. Things have happened in many places. Undead? Su Jin and Gu Lang still didn't know about this matter. Speaking of which, it was Yoyue who sent people to inform us first, that's why we were alerted. Mao Sanquan said, I don't know why, but in recent years, more and more experts have gone missing, and more commoners have been killed. It's as if they're going to do something big. Sima Yoyue thought of the pile of undead in the spirit pagoda. Could it be that because they lost the undead, they wanted to make up for it? Director Mao, can you let me take a look at the information? She asked. Mao Sanquan asked Wang Si Miao to pass the information to her. She quickly flipped through it and found that the people who went missing were not weak. They were about the same level as those in her spirit pagoda. And the places where the incidents happened were not very strong, and most of them were commoners. However, these places were far from the academy. By the time the academy's people rushed there, those people had already escaped. This matter has to be dealt with at the root for it to be effective. Fan Lei said, otherwise, they'll just find a place to kill and we'll chase after them. It won't have much effect. But they always appear and disappear like ghosts. We can't do anything about it. Wang Si Miao said. This. Sigh. Mao Sanquan and Fan Lei both sighed. He was right. They were in a passive position now. Director Fan, Director Mao, I have some clues. Sima Yoyue said. What do you know? Sima Yoyue told them about the undead she saw in the Yang family, as well as the undead she saw in Northern Duhao's place. If I'm not wrong, this matter is caused by the Yang family and the Northern Du family. She concluded, when we touched the Yang family before, we felt that this matter was not something they could do alone. If they have the Northern Du family behind them, then it makes sense. This Northern Du family is a hidden family. Their status and strength are extraordinary in this continent. Why would they do something like this? No one could understand. Although the Northern Du clan is also a hidden clan, firstly, they are originally people who harbor evil intentions. Secondly, I believe that there are conflicts between the hidden clans that cannot be resolved. At the very least, I know that the Northern Du clan is not on good terms with the other clans. Thirdly, no one would complain about having too much power, right? Since they know about this method, with their family's character, they would only pursue power and not care about the lives of others. Sima Yue guessed. If that's the case, then the Northern Du family and the Yang family will become the public enemy of the entire continent. We have to find evidence first. Otherwise, they will deny it. As long as there are clues and directions, there's no need to worry about not being able to find anything. Si Miao, you arrange this matter. Let them investigate according to Yo Yue's words. They must find evidence. Mao San Quan instructed. Chapter 1664. Wang Si Miao accepted the order and left. Sima Yue waited for him to leave before asking Mao San Quan, has Wang Si Miao graduated? His performance just now was not the performance of an ordinary student. That batch of people have all graduated, and most of them have left. He stayed behind to be my assistant. Mao San Quan said, he's very capable, so it's good for him to stay and develop in the academy. I didn't expect them to have all graduated. Sima Yue sighed. I feel like I haven't known them for long. When you came to the academy, they had already reached the graduation standard. Previously, they wanted to stay in the academy for a while longer, but after being stimulated by your matter, they all graduated and went out to explore. Mao San Quan was also somewhat emotional. Sima Yue didn't stay in the academy for long, but she had a huge impact on the entire academy, especially the students. Now, all of them were cultivating as if they were injected with stimulants. When asked the reason, the boys all said that they couldn't prepare because they were too far behind the goddess. The girls all said that they were all women, and it would be embarrassing to be left behind too far behind. There were all kinds of words, but they all had one thing in common, and that was, they all worshipped her. Sima Yue could not help but laugh. She never thought that she would become such an existence at such a young age. He had clearly not done anything for the academy, yet he had become the object of admiration. There was one thing that she did not expect. For some people, her existence was a kind of encouragement to others. Now, let's continue our previous topic. Yue, who do you plan on bringing with you? Su Jin asked. Sima Yue stood up and bowed to everyone. She said, I'll leave this matter to you. I'm going back to rest. We will return to Heartbreak Valley in a few days. You still have a lot of time to discuss. Without waiting for them to speak, he left first. What a joke. She wouldn't accept such a hot potato that would offend others. In any case, the result could be foreseen. Mao San Quan and the others definitely wouldn't be able to rely on Su Jin. As for Gu Lang, after being trapped on the island for so long, how could he be willing to be trapped in the academy to work? However, she would not say much. Otherwise, Director Mao and the others would be angry. She brought Little Two back to Parting Garden. Not long after, Han Miao Shuang and the others returned. Su Xiao returned to his job and began to clean the Parting Garden. Jiang Jun Xian returned to his room to sleep. Han Miao Shuang pulled her to make some delicious food. Little Seven brought Qing Yi to tour the academy. After all, she had lived here for so many years, she still wanted Qing Yi to see more of the place where she lived. Sima Yue, Little Two, and Han Miao Shuang gathered together to eat delicious food. She specially made Little Roar and Little Lucky's favorite barbecued chicken as a reward for accompanying the witch the last time. After Su Xiao cleaned the whole yard thoroughly, she joined them, picked up the barbecue and began to eat. Eating some good food and chatting, this kind of life was very comfortable. Although Huabin was not the kind of person who had a strong appetite, he still ate a little more this time and praised it. Yu Yu's food is delicious. Xiao Shi was small, but his eating speed was not slow. Little Two, when are we going back? Huabin asked. At least wait until the matter with Paramount Valley is over. The clan leader didn't set a time for us to go back, there's no rush. Little Two continued, also, if the clan leader is angry, We can say that Xiaoxi asked us to stay here to accompany him, right Xiaoxi? Xiaoxi's eyes turned and nodded seriously, saying, "You're right, you guys are here to accompany and protect me, you can't leave." Little Tu laughed. Hua Bin was depressed. Wasn't this blatantly faking it? But Xiaoxi's identity was special. As long as he asked, he really couldn't say no. Sima Yue smiled and patted Xiaoxi's head. Xiaoxi smiled at her obediently. If she liked it, he would help her keep Little Tuesday. Such peaceful days passed for 10 days. When she was about to leave, Su Jin and Mao Sen Quan still hadn't decided on a winner. Sima Yue didn't say anything. She left a pile of antidote pills and left with Little 2 and Little 7. The news that she was going back had already been sent back, so that Shimen Feng could set the wedding date and prepare the betrothal gifts. She didn't expect Shimen Feng to send a message asking her to go back and discuss it together. She had no choice but to give up the idea of going back by sightseeing. She chose to use the teleportation array and quickly returned to Paramount Valley. Knowing that she was back, all the disciples in the valley were in an uproar. The atmosphere in the valley instantly reached its peak, and everyone was very enthusiastic when dealing with matters. Sima Yue didn't avoid everyone like she did in the academy. She directly walked out of the teleportation array and was immediately surrounded by the excited disciples. Instead, Little 2 and Little 7 were pushed to the back. Sima Yue smiled and greeted everyone. She was stuck on the spot and couldn't move. In the end, it was Shimen Feng who helped her solve the problem. The Valley Lord had spoken, so no one dared to surround her. But no one was willing to leave, so they followed her from afar. Shimen Feng looked at these disciples helplessly, but he didn't scold them anymore. He took Sima Yue and left. These brats are really asking for a beating. I'll send them to the training hall for a period of time later. Shimen Feng's voice wasn't loud, but it made the faces of the disciples behind him change. They were elated just now, but now they looked bitter. These disciples are much more active now. Sima Yue wasn't angry. I saw some of them from Blood Fiend City. They wouldn't do such things in the past. After merging with Divine Devil Valley, they are better. At least they don't look like they are full of killing intent anymore. Shimen Feng said. When Heartbreak Valley was established, except for the remaining members of the Shimen family, the disciples in the valley were all from Blood Fiend City. The entire valley could be said to be filled with a murderous aura. He had spent a lot of effort to suppress them back then. The disciples of Divine Devil Valley were much more lively. After merging, the people of Blood Fiend City slowly changed. Sima Yue nodded and smiled. This is good. Shimen Feng brought her to her courtyard. She tugged at her clothes and asked, "Let's go and pay our respects to Master and Martial Uncle first. They are waiting in your courtyard now. We can go there directly." Shimen Feng said. Sima Yue opened her mouth in surprise. How can I do that? I should be the one to greet them after I return. Who asked you to leave for so many years? They want to see you sooner. We won't let them wait too long. Shimen Feng was helpless about this. But who asked them to pamper her so much? When she returned to her courtyard, she saw a group of people waiting for her. Other than Liang Wuming and Old Man Mo, there was also Feng Kai, Nine and the others. Of course, there was also Bei Gong Tang, Fatty Chu, and the others. Meeting again after so many years, seeing these familiar smiling faces, her eyes slowly turned red. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.